The other thing you hit on briefly, and I really want to emphasize, is the employee engagement piece, which is going to, one, stop the bleeding. It's going to retain your current employees in-house, because you got to stop the exodus. If you don't stop the exodus, now it just doubles, triples your hiring problem and your people problem. So relative to that employee engagement thing, any other thoughts relative to that business owners can do aside from doing a look across to see where they can get people back aligned to what they love doing?
Yeah, it's a great point. And if you look at some of the research on employee burnout, some will tell you that it's the most highly engaged employees that tend to have the most burnout,
Really?
right? Which makes sense. They're most passionate about the organization's mission and their work. And if those things are shaken, they will be the ones they're not going to say, whatever, right? No, they're bought in, and you have to take care of that buy-in and that engagement. So if we have those, we assume top performers and those very highly engaged folks most burnt out, and their engagements hit hardest, I think we just have to look at the 4 forces of disengagement. So in the research, it tells us it's the person's job, their manager, their team, and the organization. Mm-hmm. Those are the 4 forces that converge on either driving engagement up or unfortunately bringing it down, which can lead to low productivity or turnover. And this turnover we're seeing certainly in the Great Resignation. And I think just all the churn and change, and I just think of playing Yahtzee, where you put the dice in a cup and you shake the dice. Like, we've shaken our people for a year and a half. And if those 4 forces are true, all of a sudden my job is different. This is not the job I was hired for. And that could be a great thing, or it could be like, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't where my talent lies. Certainly my manager may be different. Did my manager not survive the riff and I'm reporting to someone else now? That relationship is different than it was. My team is different. Yeah, I think we see a lot of teams be put together from spare parts, that survived this or chose not to leave. And those teams are even partially in the office now as people return, and partially remote. So that's a new dynamic. Right. And even the organization driver of engagement. Companies had to pivot their strategy. And now if engagement is defined as my emotional commitment to the organization's goals, if the goals have changed, how has that changed with how my values align to what the company does? So it's very possible those 4 indices of engagement, then maybe were healthy pre-pandemic, and they've changed through no malice of anyone, just circumstance. And now I'm looking at those 4 things like this. This is not me. This is not where I want to be or what I want to do. So that's, looking at the science and research on burnout and engagement and the drivers of engagement, those 4 things could have gotten shaken up very, very powerfully. And again, it's not a matter of anyone twisting their mustache or doing anything evil. It's just things have changed, and that role clarity needs to be readdressed, to your point, to stop the bleeding a little bit.
Very important topic there, the 4 points of disengagement, which I know Predictive Index, incorporates into their training and does a great job with that. I got to say, for the listeners and viewers out there, I mean, when we talk employee engagement, we are automatically assuming that you are going beyond the basics of, talking to your employees and recognize your employees. I think a lot of companies just think employee engagement is recognizing birthdays and doing raffles and bingo and things like that. And those are all great things to get people's morale up and everything. Sustaining that, though, is really not done unless you're truly engaging person to person, individual to individual, and understanding their needs. So there's an automatic assumption in this conversation that people are going that next level, and they're not doing the party planning committee. They're going beyond that to engage their employees. So I really appreciate that aspect of the 4 points of disengagement. If you want to recommend somebody to appear on the podcast as a guest, please email us at info@opsqc.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a podcast, please reach out to us at the same email. We'd love to have your support.